Hello, hello. So, as we are talking about Copilot, and this is what's new in 2024 release wave 1, how we can miss a surely pretty good attempt on using Copilot capabilities to suggest sales line in Business Central 2024 release wave 1. Now, if you ask me, my thoughts on this feature is a little bit um, from the perspective of it's a nice attempt to kind of engage developers to kind of understand how you can utilize the power of AI or Copilot in Business Central. Is it a use case? I doubt at this moment. But maybe if you are a business owner, you are a better judge of suggesting that it is a feature that you'll be using or how much you'll be utilizing it. But I'm thinking it from a perspective of a developer, and I'm pretty interested to kind of look at it from a developer perspective of how I can then use the model or the framework that Microsoft have built in to build good solutions or better solutions that caters my customer need and help their businesses to with power of Copilot and AI. So in this particular video, we'll get into it, we'll understand how it looks like, and then from a developer perspective, I'll kind of give you a brief intro of where it is and how it can be utilized. And then I'll leave it to you guys. I'll surely get engaged with this going forward to understand what else I can do with it. If I learn something, I'll surely share it with you. So without wasting further time, let's get into it. Okay. So as I said, the sales line suggestion with Copilot is a feature that's available in 2024 release wave 1. At this moment, this feature is only available in sales quotes, sales orders, and sales invoices. So you can pick any of these three where this feature is available. Now, let's see how to use it. Let's get into sales orders. Okay, let's start creating a new sales order, and surely we'll decide a customer for which we are creating a sales order. Let's choose Editum Corporation. Done. And now, once you have filled in other details that are required for the sales order, you come to the lines area where you specify what this customer would like to buy from you. Now, as we have seen in the previous video, you will start seeing starting this version, this icon on the list pages and on the worksheet pages. You see it here, you click on it and you see one option which is suggest sales lines, or you can access it from the ribbon also. The actions are same wherever you are using it. Suggest sales line. Now in the suggest sales line, as this page opens, you see a little bit more options here, and we'll surely talk about it as we go forward. But there are two scenarios how you can utilize this feature as Microsoft documentations describe it. One, you can specify the item descriptions and the quantity that it need to add to your sales line. So I can say, okay, I need, and it's a natural language, I need 5 red chairs and 2 tables. So what I'm specifying that I need a product chairs which is kind of red, and then 2 tables. So 2 and 5 are quantity, and then these technically my item names or descriptions. I do the generate, and as soon as you click on it, it gets into the AI framework model and try to analyze the data that you have to get an output for you. So right now it is looking for item which matching chairs or tables. Now in the description you don't see a red, but when the results pop up, it tells you that it has found a red chair, and it is suggesting 5 quantity as I requested it, and then it is also suggesting a conference table of quantity 2 which are here. We'll get into it how it is doing it from a uh, front-end perspective, but because it's AI and we know that AI generated content may be incorrect, and if you're new to it, you might not have that much faith that person who is using it for a while. You might want some more kind of confirmation on how it looks. So what you can do is here you can choose lines and confidence. So to bring confidence to the results that's coming in, you can choose to line and confidence and regenerate the output. In this case, the AI will respond to you about the confidence that it have on the response that is coming, and also it will tell you the search term that are used to find this particular item. So if it is using X and Y, it'll tell you. So now you see that AI is pretty high confident on the responses that has been received from it. And then the search term that it used to find this item is chair and red. And for this item, it look for table as a search term. Now let's get into the item list before we proceed ahead on this. That on the items page, it is not just looking into the fields that you have in your system, which is this. It is Microsoft have extended it to look beyond the normal field. It is surely looking into description, the description too, the vendor item number, and item category code, but also it looks into the attributes, and that's how it found out my red chair, because that was an attribute to that particular item, listed as attribute color as red. So there are certain fields which are utilized to come up with the response when it is looking for an item. Or the other scenario that we talked about, let's go back there, where you can utilize it is, and let me insert it. As I said, AI is a co-pilot, so you will have to press as a pilot the final button to say yes, I agree this, and this gets inserted into your sales line. Let's go back in. We talked about the first one. The second one is to refer an existing document to copy from. So for editum, if I have a, let's say, invoice or posted invoice, okay, editum corporation. So if I would like to copy the details from this particular invoice, if I know this invoice number because I work on it throughout the day, I can just maybe copy this. If I just remember the number of it, what I can do here, that I can specify it. And if you are not so good with AI right now, what you can do is you can surely use the prompt guide here and say copy line item from either last invoice, you can say so, or you can also use the copy line item. Let's do last invoice and see what happens. When I do last invoice, it tries to find the last invoice for this particular customer. Now the context of the customer is coming from the header of the sales order that you have created. So whatever the customer name or number has been chosen on the sales order, that'll be used while trying to find out the last invoice. And you can see here that it tells you that it is taking the last invoice from posted sales invoice 3217 for Editem Corporation, which was posted on 5/1/24, and you can click on it and see what it is. Or you, as I was saying, you can then also utilize to get a copy from and then pick the number of the document that you want to copy it from, and it did not find it, so maybe I was doing something wrong. So let's change this and utilize the same one. Okay, so now it'll again try to find the last invoice and give it to you. Now you can surely change the quantity here if that did not make sense from that invoice, and update that. You can also update the description and then do the insert. Now before we do that, there is a matching option which tells you how precise you want, how balanced or you want. So you can define the matching criteria while finding the results, and then you can do an insert which will then copy these lines here. Now let's talk about certain limitations of it at this moment. It'll only be able to suggest sales line of type item. Even if you're copying it from an existing document, whether it's a GL account or a resource or a comment added, those lines will not be copied. One. Second, it's will copy all the lines that are there, and you can surely change it at this window. So like if I'm doing it here and say, let's say from last invoice, generate this. So if the last invoice in this case have two lines, it'll show you two lines, but you can surely delete it here. But there's no way to say, okay, give me the first line from the last invoice. That is not a option at this moment. Okay. You can not do the generic search like suggest me items which have been let's say most selling items in last 6 months. That is something also not acceptable at this moment. So at this moment, as I was saying in the beginning, to me it looks like that the model is built on to give developers an idea of how they can utilize the power that's given with the AI, and how they can build solutions which make sense to the customers. Now, from a developer perspective, let's get into it. So, this in your Business Central 24 product DVD, you will see that it says separate extension altogether called suggest sales line. Somewhere it'll be okay. Sales and inventory forecast. I kind of lose it once in a while. So let's have a look. Master data management, on-prem, payment plan, report layout, forecast, sales line suggestion. Okay. In this, you surely will get access to the source, and in the source, you can surely extract it. And then using the power of VS Code, you can see the code that Microsoft have written to build this. Okay. And then the idea that I think Microsoft came up with this is, so you as a developer, or I as a developer, and others as a developer in the community are able to find out the pattern that Microsoft is using, and then build AI solutions for your customer which helps in their businesses. So all the code is accessible. Is it extensible? That depends on different areas. If it is limited to internal, you will not be able to. But if there are certain areas which are open, you surely will be able to extend that if there are events available, which I doubt there will be. So with this, you can utilize this. You know the limitations, you know what is possible and what is not possible. So what I need from you now is, surely as we are talking about AI, hit the like button if you think it is important. If you think it is waste of time, I should have done something else, hit the dislike button. But also tell me the use cases in comments, how you think you can utilize it. Maybe I'm not the right person to comment on the use cases of this, but if you think there is a valid use case for it, please add it into the comments. Teach me something for sure. And then if you think this is something that others should know as a developer, as a user, then share this on your social media accounts. And if you haven't, which I really doubt, then do subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you sooner than later on the next video in this series. Till then, what you need to do is keep learning and keep sharing. Thank you and have a great day.